Anna counted her last rubles in her wallet when a stranger in an expensive suit approached her table at the cafe. 1,000,000 rubles for a year of work, he said quietly, but there's one condition. His dark eyes looked straight into her soul. She had no idea this contract would change her entire life. What she did next shocked everyone. Before we begin, write in the comments what city you're watching from. And at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy watching. An offer she can't refuse. The rain tapped against the windows of Café Pushkin as Anna Sokolova stared at the crumpled bills in her worn leather wallet. 15 rubles. That was all that stood between her and complete poverty. She pushed her untouched coffee away and checked her phone for the 100th time. No missed calls. No job offers. The rejection letter from Moscow State University still burned in her memory. Unfortunately, we cannot offer you financial assistance for this semester. The cafe buzzed with the comfortable chatter of people who didn't worry about their next meal. Anna felt invisibly among them. Just another struggling student in a city that ate dreams for breakfast. The door chimed, and suddenly the atmosphere shifted. A man walked in wearing a charcoal gray suit that probably cost more than Anna's annual rent. His dark hair was perfectly styled, and his presence commanded attention without him saying a word. Conversations quieted. Waitresses straightened their aprons. Maxim Volkov. Even Anna recognized him from the business magazines. CEO of Volkov Industries, worth billions, and according to the gossip columns, Moscow's most eligible bachelor. What was he doing in a modest cafe like this? His eyes swept the room before landing on her. For a moment, time stopped. Then he walked directly to her table. "May I sit?" His voice was deep, controlled. Anna's mouth went dry. This table island." He sat down anyway, his expensive cologne mixing with the scent of coffee and rain. Up close, she could see the sharp line of his jaw, the intensity in his dark brown eyes. "Anna Sokolova," he said. It wasn't a question. Her heart hammered. "How do you know my name?" "I know many things about you. 22 years old, literature major at Moscow State. Parents died in a car accident when you were 18. No siblings. No boyfriend." He leaned forward slightly. "And you're broke." Heat flushed Anna's cheeks. "What do you want?" Maxim reached into his jacket and pulled out a thick envelope. "I have a proposition. I'm not interested in whatever this island. 1,000,000 rubles." The words hung in the air like a physical presence. Anna's coffee cup rattled against the saucer as her hands trembled. "For what?" "A year of your life." He slid the envelope across the table. "Think of it as employment." Anna stared at the envelope but didn't touch it. "What kind of employment?" "The kind that requires discretion." His fingers drummed once on the table. "Open it." Against her better judgment, Anna pulled out the documents. The first page made her gasp. A contract offering 1,000,000 rubles for 1 year of service. The amount was printed in bold letters, impossible to misread. "This is insane," she whispered. "Keep reading." Anna flipped through the pages. Standard employment terms, confidentiality agreements, a Moscow address that made her eyes widen, the most exclusive district in the city. Then she reached condition number 7. Her face went pale. "You can't be serious." Maxim's expression didn't change. "Perfectly serious." Condition 7 stated, "Employee agrees to pose as employer's romantic partner for all public appearances, business functions, and social obligations as required." "You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend?" "Among other things." He glanced at his watch, a piece of jewelry worth more than most people's cars. "You have financial obligations. Student loans, medical bills from your parents' accident. I have social obligations. This arrangement benefits us both." Anna's mind raced. The money would solve everything. University tuition, her mounting debts, the constant stress of wondering where her next meal would come from. But this, why me? "You're perfect for what I need, intelligent but not for my world, beautiful but not artificial, desperate but not pathetic." His honesty was brutal. "Most importantly, you have nothing to lose." The words stung because they were true. I need time to think. You have 30 seconds. Excuse me? Maxim's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and his jaw tightened. My grandfather's lawyers are expecting my answer by tomorrow. The inheritance requires that I be in a stable, committed relationship. Without it, Volkov Industries goes to my cousin Victor. His eyes met hers. Victor would destroy everything my family built. So you need a fake girlfriend to inherit your grandfather's money? I need a fake girlfriend to save my company and everyone who depends on it. 3,000 employees, Anna. Their families depend on those jobs. The weight of his words pressed down on her. This wasn't just about money anymore. 1 million rubles. She said slowly. 1 million rubles. Plus housing, clothing, everything you need. He leaned back. 20 seconds. Anna looked around the cafe, at the life she knew, scraping by, worrying constantly, watching her dreams slip away one unpaid bill at a time. Then she looked at Maxim Volkov, powerful and dangerous and offering her an escape. If I say yes, when does this start? Tonight. He pulled out a pen and placed it beside the contract. Sign, and a car will pick you up at 8. Pack light. Everything else will be provided. Anna's hand hovered over the pen. One signature, and her life would change forever. She thought about her empty refrigerator, her past due notices, the job rejection emails that filled her inbox. What happens after the year is over? You walk away 1 million rubles richer. I inherit what's rightfully mine. Everyone wins. It sounded too good to be true. In Anna's experience, things that sounded too good to be true usually were. But what choice did she have? She picked up the pen. Maxim's eyes never left her face as she signed her name at the bottom of the contract. The ink was barely dry when he slid the papers back into the envelope. Smart choice, he said, standing. 8 o'clock sharp, don't be late. He walked away without another word, leaving Anna alone with the contract and the dawning realization of what she'd just done. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Car will be outside your apartment at 8 p.m. Bring only personal items, everything else will be handled. MV. Anna stared at the message, then at the cafe around her. In 6 hours, she would leave this life behind. She should feel terrified. Instead, for the first time in months, she felt something else entirely. Hope. First day, in a golden cage. The black sedan pulled up outside Anna's apartment building at exactly 8 o'clock. No driver got out. No one rang her buzzer. The car simply waited. Anna stood at her window, clutching a small suitcase that contained her entire life. Everything valuable fit in one bag. A few photos, her mother's jewelry, some books. Everything else could stay behind. Her phone buzzed. Time to go. MV. She grabbed her keys and headed downstairs, her heart pounding with each step. The moment she stepped outside, the car's rear door opened. Miss Sokolova? The driver was a large man in a dark suit. His English was heavily accented, and his eyes held the kind of hardness that came from experience. Yes. I am Dmitri. Mr. Volkov sent me. Anna slid into the leather interior, immediately overwhelmed by the luxury. The seats were butter soft, the air smelled like expensive cologne, and there was a minibar stocked with crystal glasses. Where are we going? Home, Dmitri said simply. The drive through Moscow felt like entering another world. They left Anna's modest neighborhood behind, traveling through increasingly upscale districts until they reached the heart of the city. Dmitri pulled up to a gleaming high-rise that pierced the night sky. Top floor, he said, handing her a keycard. Mr. Volkov is waiting. The elevator ride felt endless. Anna watched the numbers climb. 20, 30, 40, 45. When the doors opened, she stepped into a private foyer with only one door. Her door, apparently. She slid the keycard and entered another universe. The penthouse was something from a movie. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of Moscow's lights. The furniture looked like it belonged in a museum, and everything was pristine, expensive, and intimidatingly perfect. You're here. Anna turned to find Maxim emerging from what looked like an office. He'd changed from his suit into dark jeans and a white shirt that somehow made him look even more dangerous. This island. She gestured weakly at the space around them. You're home for the next year. He walked to the bar and poured himself a drink. Would you like something? Water is fine. He handed her a crystal glass. Let me show you around. The tour was overwhelming. A gourmet kitchen she'd be afraid to cook in. A living room larger than her entire apartment. A dining room with a table that could seat 12. And everywhere, that view of the city spread out below them like a jeweled carpet. Your room, Maxim said, opening a door. Anna stepped inside and gasped. The bedroom was gorgeous, all soft colors and luxurious fabrics. A king-sized bed dominated the space, and another wall of windows showcased the city lights. The closet, Maxim said. He opened double doors to reveal a walk-in closet larger than her old bedroom. And it wasn't empty. Dresses, shoes, coats, handbags, all in her size, all looking incredibly expensive. How did you? I have people who handle these things. He selected a black cocktail dress from the rack. Tomorrow night we're attending a charity gala. This will work. Anna ran her fingers over the silk fabric. It's beautiful, but I can't accept. You signed a contract, Anna. Part of that contract specifies that you'll dress appropriately for all occasions. These clothes aren't gifts, they're work uniforms. The coldness in his voice reminded her that this was business, not kindness. Right. Of course. There are rules we need to discuss. Maxim moved to the window, his back to her. First, you don't leave this building without my knowledge, ever. I'm a prisoner? You're an investment. I need to protect. There are people who would love to get their hands on information about me, my business, my personal life. Until this arrangement ends, your safety is my responsibility. What about my classes, my job at the bookstore? You quit the bookstore yesterday. As for university, we'll arrange for you to complete your degree online. He turned to face her. Your old life is on hold, Anna. The sooner you accept that, the easier this will be. Anna sank onto the edge of the bed. The luxury around her suddenly felt suffocating. I need to call my mother. Maxim's expression shifted. Your mother died 4 years ago. Heat flooded Anna's cheeks. My adoptive mother, Maria Petrovna. She raised me after. She'll worry if I disappear. What will you tell her? I don't know. Something. Here's what you'll tell her. You got a job as a live-in assistant for a wealthy family. You'll be traveling frequently and won't be able to visit for a while. Keep it simple. Anna nodded, pulling out her phone. The conversation with Maria was painful. Lying to the woman who'd been her anchor since her parents died. But she managed to sell the story, even as guilt twisted in her stomach. Good, Maxim said when she hung up. Tomorrow we'll go shopping for anything the closet is missing. Then tomorrow night, your real work begins. The charity gala. 500 of Moscow's most influential people will be watching us. They need to believe we're madly in love. His eyes met hers. Think you can handle that? The intensity of his gaze made her skin tingle. I'll manage. I hope so. Because if this doesn't work, we both lose everything. He moved toward the door, then paused. One more thing. The media will dig into your background. I've had my people create a cover story. We met at university, dated quietly for months before going public. If anyone asks, stick to that version. And if they ask personal questions about us, a slow smile crossed his face, and for a moment he looked less like a CEO and more like a man. We'll figure those out as we go. Good night, Anna. After he left, Anna sat alone in her beautiful new prison. She walked to the window and looked out at the city lights, thinking about the life she'd left behind. Her tiny apartment, her part-time job, her constant worry about money. All of it seemed like another lifetime. Her phone buzzed with a text. Sleep well. Tomorrow your real education begins. MV. Anna changed into pajamas and slipped between sheets that probably cost more than her monthly rent. The bed was incredibly comfortable, but sleep didn't come easily. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Maxim's face, the intensity, the control, the hint of something dangerous beneath the polished surface. What had she gotten herself into? Outside her window, Moscow never slept, and neither, it seemed, would she. Playing happy couple. Anna woke to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and the scent of fresh coffee drifting from the kitchen. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then reality crashed back. Maxim's penthouse. The contract. Her new life. She found him at the dining table, dressed in another perfectly tailored suit, reading financial reports while eating breakfast. He looked up when she entered. "Good morning. Coffee's fresh." "Thank you." Anna poured herself a cup, hyper-aware of her simple pajamas compared to his business attire. "Do you always wake up this early?" "Success doesn't sleep in." He folded his paper. "We need to leave in an hour." "For where?" "Shopping. Tonight's event is crucial and you need to look perfect." His eyes swept over her dismissively. "The stylist will be here in 20 minutes. Before Anna could respond, the doorbell chimed. Maxim rose to answer it, returning with a woman who looked like she'd stepped from the pages of Vogue. "Anna, meet Jelena. She's going to transform you." The next 3 hours passed in a whirlwind of activity. Jelena was a master of her craft: hair, makeup, wardrobe coordination. Anna felt like a doll being dressed for display. "Beautiful bone structure," Jelena murmured, applying foundation with expert precision. "Mr. Volkov has excellent taste." "He chose well," Maxim said from the doorway. Anna met his eyes in the mirror, and something flickered between them before he looked away. "How much longer?" "Almost finished." When Jelena finally stepped back, Anna barely recognized herself. Her hair fell in elegant waves, her makeup was flawless, and the black dress fit like it had been made for her body specifically. "Perfect," Maxim said. "The car is waiting." The charity gala was held at the Four Seasons, Moscow's most prestigious hotel. As their car pulled up, Anna saw photographers lining the red carpet. "Paparazzi?" she whispered. "Business press, mostly, but yes." Maxim adjusted his cufflinks. "Remember, we've been dating for 3 months. We're deeply in love, but trying to keep things private. Follow my lead." The car door opened, and suddenly they were in the spotlight. Cameras flashed as Maxim helped Anna from the car, his hand warm and steady on her back. "Maxim, over here. Who's your beautiful date? Are you two engaged?" Maxim's arm tightened around Anna's waist. "Gentlemen, ladies, please respect our privacy. We're here to support the children's hospital." He guided Anna through the crowd with practiced ease. She focused on walking steadily in her designer heels, smiling at the cameras while her heart raced. Inside the hotel, the atmosphere shifted from chaos to elegance. The ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers and was filled with Moscow's elite. Anna recognized faces from magazines and news programs. "Nervous?" Maxim murmured in her ear. "Terrified." "Good. Use it." His hand found the small of her back. Showtime. For the next hour, they worked the room like professionals. Maxim introduced Anna to business partners, politicians, and socialites. She smiled, made small talk, and played the role of the smitten girlfriend. "Anna's studying literature at Moscow State," Maxim told a group of investors. "She's brilliant, keeps me grounded." His pride sounded so genuine that Anna almost believed it herself. "How did you two meet?" asked Elena Borisova, wife of a prominent banker. Anna's mouth went dry. They'd rehearsed this, but her mind went blank under the woman's scrutiny. "At a coffee shop near campus," Maxim said smoothly, his hand finding Anna's. She was reading Pushkin, completely absorbed. "I had to ask her about the book 3 times before she noticed me." "Love at first sight?" Elena pressed. "Something like that," Anna managed, "though I made him work for it." Maxim's thumb stroked across her knuckles. "Worth every minute." The way he looked at her then, like she was the only person in the room, made Anna's breath catch. For a moment, she forgot they were acting. "Excuse us," Maxim said. "I'd like to dance with my girlfriend." He led Anna to the dance floor as a string quartet played a waltz. His arm circled her waist, pulling her close. "You're doing well," he murmured as they swayed to the music. "Am I?" "Everyone believes we're together. That's what matters." Anna looked up at him. "Do you ever stop thinking about business? Do you ever stop asking personal questions?" That wasn't personal. It was barely surface level. Something shifted in his expression. "What would you like to know?" "Everything." The word slipped out before she could stop it. They were still moving to the music, but Anna felt the air between them change. Maxim's eyes searched her face. "Careful, Anna. Curiosity can be dangerous." "Is that a threat?" "It's a warning." The song ended, but neither of them moved. They stood frozen on the dance floor, the space between them charged with something Anna couldn't name. Maxim Volkov. The spell broke as a man approached, tall, blonde, and wearing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Oleg, Maxim said, his tone cooling. I didn't expect to see you here. I wouldn't miss it. Charity is so important. Oleg's gaze shifted to Anna. And who is this vision? Anna Sokolova, Maxim said. Anna, meet Oleg Petrov. Anna recognized the name, one of Maxim's biggest business competitors. Oleg took her hand and raised it to his lips. Enchanting. How did someone like you end up with this cold businessman? He's not cold, Anna said, surprising herself with the defensiveness in her voice. No? How refreshing. I would have sworn Maxim's heart was made of ice. You'd be wrong, Anna said, meeting Oleg's eyes steadily. Maxim's hand tightened on her waist. If you'll excuse us, Oleg, we were just leaving. But Oleg wasn't finished. Perhaps Anna would honor me with a dance? I promised to return her in one piece. That's not, Maxim began. I'd love to, Anna said. She didn't trust Oleg, but something in Maxim's possessive tone made her want to assert her independence. Maxim's jaw tightened. One dance. Oleg led Anna onto the floor as a tango began. He was a skilled dancer, but Anna felt nothing except annoyance at his obvious attempt to provoke Maxim. So tell me, Oleg said, spinning her expertly, what's a nice girl like you doing with Moscow's most ruthless CEO? Falling in love, apparently. Really? How romantic. Though I wonder, what will you do when you discover the real Maxim Volkov? I wonder. I already know the real Maxim. Oleg laughed. Do you? Has he told you about his grandfather's will? About what he needs from you to secure his inheritance? Anna's step faltered. What? Oh, my dear girl. You really don't know, do you? The song ended, and Maxim appeared at Anna's side like a guardian angel. Thank you for the dance, Oleg. Anna, shall we go? As they walked away, Anna's mind raced with Oleg's words. What had he meant about the inheritance? What wasn't Maxim telling her? In the elevator to the parking garage, the silence stretched between them. Finally, Anna couldn't take it anymore. What did Oleg mean about your grandfather's will? Maxim stared at the elevator numbers. Nothing important. Don't lie to me. I'm not. You need me for more than just playing your girlfriend, don't you? There's something else, something you haven't told me. The elevator doors opened, but neither of them moved. Anna, what aren't you telling me, Maxim? Number 4. For a moment, she thought he might answer. His guard seemed to drop, and she saw something vulnerable in his expression. Then his mask slipped back into place. Let's go home. The drive back to the penthouse was tense. Anna stared out the window, her mind churning with questions. What was Maxim hiding? What had she really signed up for? When they reached the penthouse, Maxim headed straight for his office. Good night, Anna. That's it? We're not going to talk about this. He paused at his office door. There's nothing to discuss. I think they're island. Slowly, he turned to face her. What do you want me to say? The truth. You want the truth? He walked back to her, and Anna saw something dangerous in his eyes. The truth is that you're here to do a job. That job is to convince my family and business associates that we're in love. Everything else is irrelevant. Including my right to know what I'm really involved in? You knew what you were signing when you took my money. His words stung. Right. Just business. Just business, he confirmed. Anna nodded, fighting back tears she couldn't quite explain. Then I'll do my job, Mr. Volkov. Nothing more, nothing less. She walked to her room and closed the door firmly behind her. As she changed out of her beautiful dress, Anna caught sight of herself in the mirror. She looked like a stranger, polished, elegant, expensive, but underneath the designer clothes and perfect makeup, she was still the same girl who'd been desperate enough to sign a contract with a man she barely knew. A man who was clearly hiding something important. A man who, despite everything, made her heart race when he looked at her like she mattered. Anna fell asleep that night with more questions than answers, and the lingering memory of Maxim's hands on her waist as they danced. Cracks in the armor. Anna woke at 3 a.m. to the sound of voices coming from the living room. She checked the time on her phone, confused. Who would be visiting at this hour? She crept to her bedroom door and opened it a crack. Maxim's voice drifted down the hallway, tense and frustrated. I don't care what Victor thinks. The board meeting isn't for another month. Anna couldn't make out the response from his phone call, but Maxim's next words made her freeze. The girl is working perfectly. Everyone at the gala believed we were together. A pause. No, she doesn't suspect anything about the inheritance clause. She thinks this is just about having a girlfriend for appearances. Anna's heart sank. So Oleg had been right. There was more to this arrangement than Maxim had told her. The project should be ready by then, Maxim continued. Once the marriage requirement is satisfied, the company will be officially mine. Marriage requirement? Anna pressed closer to the door. I don't care if it feels deceptive. This is business. His voice was cold, clinical. The contract runs for exactly 1 year. After that, she gets her money and disappears. Problem solved. Anna closed the door quietly and leaned against it, her mind reeling. Marriage requirement, project. What exactly had she signed up for? She climbed back into bed, but sleep didn't come. By the time morning arrived, she'd made a decision. She needed to know the truth. The next day passed in careful normalcy. Maxim worked from his home office while Anna tried to focus on her online classes. But every time she heard his voice on a phone call or saw him emerge for coffee, Oleg's words echoed in her mind. That evening, after Maxim had been locked in his office for hours, Anna decided to bring him dinner. Maybe she could get him to talk. She knocked on his office door and waited. Come in. Maxim looked exhausted. His suit jacket was draped over his chair, his tie loosened, his dark hair slightly mussed from running his hands through it. Papers covered his desk, and multiple computer screens showed charts and financial data. I brought you some food, Anna said, setting down a tray. You missed dinner. Thank you. He barely glanced up from his work. Anna didn't leave. Instead, she studied the man who'd turned her life upside down. In the soft light of his desk lamp, he looked younger, more human. When do you sleep? She asked. Sleep is a luxury I can't afford right now. He rubbed his eyes. The Petrov Industries merger is more complicated than expected. Is that what all this is about? Anna gestured to the chaos of papers. Your rivalry with Oleg? Finally, Maxim looked at her, really looked at her. It's not a rivalry, it's war. Over what? Everything. Market share, contracts, influence. He leaned back in his chair. My grandfather built Volkov Industries from nothing. Oleg's family has been trying to destroy us for 30 years. Anna perched on the edge of a chair across from his desk. Tell me about your grandfather. Something shifted in Maxim's expression. Why? Because I want to understand. I'm living in your world now, but I don't know anything about it. For a moment, Anna thought he would dismiss her. Then, surprisingly, he began to talk. Dmitry Volkov was a brilliant man. He came from nothing. A farmer's son who built an empire through sheer determination. Maxim's voice softened slightly. He taught me everything about business, about loyalty, about protecting what matters. He sounds important to you. He was the most important person in my life. Maxim's jaw tightened. When he died last year, he left behind a company worth billions and a will that. He stopped abruptly. That what? Anna pressed gently. That ensures Volkov Industries stays in the family. Anna waited, sensing there was more. Finally, Maxim continued. He was old-fashioned. He believed a man needed stability to run an empire. So he wrote a clause requiring me to be married by my 30th birthday or forfeit control of the company. Anna's breath caught. When do you turn 30? 6 months. The pieces clicked together. So you need a wife, not just a girlfriend. Maxim's eyes met hers. Yes. And you thought you'd just trick me into it? I thought I'd ease you into the idea. Anna stood abruptly. Ease me into marriage? Are you insane? It would be a business arrangement just like our current contract. After the inheritance is secure, we'd quietly divorce. You'd receive an additional 5 million rubles. 5 million. Anna sank back into the chair. You're serious. Completely. What happens if you don't get married in time? Victor inherits everything. He'll destroy the company within a year. He's already promised to sell it off in pieces to the highest bidder. Anna stared at him. So you're not just protecting your inheritance. You're protecting 3,000 jobs. Among other things. They sat in silence for a moment. Anna's mind raced with the implications of what Maxim had told her. This wasn't just about pretending to be his girlfriend anymore. Why me? She asked finally. For something this important, why choose a stranger? Because you have nothing to gain by betraying me. Women from my social circle would see this as an opportunity for permanent wealth and status. You just want enough money to finish university and start over. And you trust me not to change my mind? Not to decide I want to stay married to a billionaire? Maxim leaned forward. Do you? Anna met his gaze steadily. No, I want to finish my degree and open a bookstore someday. I want a quiet life with someone who loves me for who I am, not what I can do for them. Then we understand each other. Do we? Anna stood again, facing to the window. Because I feel like I don't understand anything. This morning I was your fake girlfriend. Tonight you're asking me to be your fake wife. I'm not asking tonight. I'm explaining the situation so you can think about it. Anna turned to face him. What if I say no? Then I respect your decision, honor our current contract, and find another solution. And if I say yes, then we get married in a small, quiet ceremony. You continue living here, playing the role of my devoted wife until my birthday passes and the inheritance is secure. Then we divorce, you get your money, and we both move on. It sounded so simply when he put it like that. But Anna knew nothing about this arrangement would be simple. I need time to think. Of course. Maxim stood and moved around his desk. Anna, I know this is a lot to process, but I want you to know you've already exceeded my expectations. Tonight at the gala, the way you handled yourself, the way you handled Oleg, you were perfect. His praise shouldn't have mattered, but it did. I was terrified. You hid it well. He was standing close now, close enough that Anna could smell his cologne. You're stronger than you know. I don't feel strong. Strength isn't about fearlessness. It's about doing what needs to be done despite the fear. Anna looked up at him. Is that what you're doing? Acting despite fear? Something flickered across his face. I don't get scared anymore. Everyone gets scared. Not me. But his voice lacked conviction. Anna studied his face. The sharp cheekbones, the guarded eyes, the mouth that rarely smiled. What scares Maxim Volkov? Losing control. The honesty in his answer surprised them both. They stood frozen for a moment, the air thick with something Anna couldn't name. Then Maxim stepped back, his mask sliding back into place. Think about my proposal, he said. But don't take too long. Time is a luxury neither of us can afford. Anna nodded and headed for the door. As she reached it, his voice stopped her. Anna? Thank you for listening. 4. Understanding. She turned back to look at him, this powerful, complicated man who carried the weight of an empire on his shoulders. Good night, Maxim. Good night. As Anna walked back to her room, her mind churned with everything she'd learned. Marriage. 5 million rubles, a company's future hanging in the balance. And somewhere beneath all the business arrangements and financial incentives, a growing awareness of the man behind the CEO mask. A man who worked until 3 a.m. to protect thousands of jobs. A man who missed dinner because he was too focused on saving his grandfather's legacy. A man who claimed he didn't get scared, but whose eyes held shadows Anna was only beginning to understand. In her room, Anna stared out at the Moscow skyline and wondered what her answer would be. The practical part of her screamed that this was insane. But another part, a part she was trying hard to ignore, whispered that maybe, just maybe, she was already in too deep to walk away. Dangerous feelings. 3 days passed before Anna gave Maxim her answer. 3 days of thinking, pacing, and trying to convince herself that marrying a stranger for money was either the smartest or stupidest decision of her life. She found him in his office Saturday morning, dressed casually in jeans and a black sweater. He looked younger like this, more approachable. I'll do it, she said without preamble. Maxim looked up from his laptop. The marriage? Yes. Anna sat down across from his desk. But I have conditions. I'm listening. First, no physical relationship expectations. This is business only. Agreed. Second, if at any point I feel unsafe or want out, the deal ends immediately. Agreed. Third, after the divorce, we never see each other again. Maxim was quiet for a long moment. Agreed. Then we have a deal. Anna stood to leave. Anna. His voice stopped her. Thank you. She nodded and walked away, not trusting herself to say more. The wedding was scheduled for the following Friday, a small civil ceremony with only the required witnesses. Anna tried not to think about it as anything more than signing another contract. But that evening, everything changed. Anna was reading in the living room when she heard raised voices from Maxim's office. The door was slightly ajar, and she couldn't help overhearing. I don't care what Victor is offering them. Maxim's voice was sharp with anger. Those contracts belong to Volkov Industries. Anna crept closer, curiosity overriding caution. He's targeting our oldest clients, Maxim continued, promising them better rates if they switch before my birthday. A pause. No, we can't match those prices. He's operating at a loss just to damage us. Another pause, longer this time. Find out who's funding him. Victor doesn't have this kind of capital on his own. Maxim's voice was deadly quiet now. Someone is bankrolling this attack, and I want to know who. Anna heard footsteps approaching the door and quickly retreated to the couch. Maxim emerged from his office, his face grim. Problems? She asked carefully. Nothing I can't handle. But his jaw was tight with tension. Maybe I could help. I'm good with research and… This isn't your concern, Anna. His dismissal stung. Right, just the fake wife, not the real partner. Maxim stopped and turned to face her. What did you say? Nothing. Forget it. No. He walked back to her. What did you mean by real partner? Anna felt heat rise in her cheeks. I just meant, we're supposed to be married soon, but you still treat me like a stranger. If we want people to believe this is real, maybe you should trust me with more than surface details. You want to be trusted with business information? I want to be treated like someone who has a brain. Anna stood to face him. I may not know about corporate warfare, but I'm not stupid. And I'm going to be your wife, fake or not, in less than a week. Something shifted in Maxim's expression. You're right, I'm sorry. Anna blinked, surprised by the apology. Victor is my cousin, Maxim continued. He's been trying to undermine me since we were children. My grandfather always favored me, and Victor never forgave that. So this is personal, not just business. With Victor, everything is personal. Maxim ran a hand through his hair. He's convinced several of our major clients to terminate their contracts. If we lose enough business before my birthday, the company becomes financially unstable, and he inherits it anyway. Anna finished. Exactly. They stood looking at each other, and Anna felt something shift between them. For the first time, Maxim was talking to her like an equal, not just an employee. What can I do to help? She asked. Nothing. This is my problem. Our problem, Anna corrected. If Victor wins, I don't get paid either. A small smile crossed Maxim's face. Fair point. The next few days blurred together. Maxim worked constantly, making calls, attending emergency meetings, trying to shore up his business relationships. Anna found herself bringing him meals, checking on him, worrying about the shadows under his eyes. Wednesday evening, she was organizing papers in his office when his phone rang. He answered it absently. Maxim Volkov. Anna watched his face change as he listened. The color drained from his cheeks and his jaw tightened. When? He asked sharply. How bad? Another pause. I'll be right there. He hung up and grabbed his jacket. What's wrong? Anna asked. My sister, Katia. She's been in an accident. Oh my God. Is she? I don't know. I have to go. He was already moving toward the door. I'm coming with you. Anna, you don't need to. Yes, I do. Something in her tone made him stop. He looked at her for a moment, then nodded. The drive to the hospital was tense and silent. Anna wanted to offer comfort but didn't know how. Maxim sat rigid in the passenger seat while Dmitry navigated Moscow traffic with professional efficiency. At the hospital, they were directed to the ICU. A young woman who looked like a feminine version of Maxim was lying unconscious in a bed surrounded by medical equipment. She's stable, the doctor told them. Concussion, broken ribs, but she should recover fully. Maxim sank into a chair beside his sister's bed, and for the first time since Anna had known him, he looked vulnerably, completely, utterly human. "She's beautiful," Anna said softly. "She's brilliant, getting her PhD in art history." Maxim's voice was rough with emotion. "She's the only family I have left." Anna wanted to touch his hand, offer some comfort, but she held back. They weren't really together, she reminded herself. This wasn't her place. But when Katya's eyes fluttered open an hour later, her gaze went immediately to Anna. "You must be the girlfriend," she said weakly, managing a small smile. "I'm Anna." "Katya." The young woman tried to sit up and wince. "Maxim's told me so much about you." Anna glanced at Maxim in surprise. "It talked about her to his sister?" "Nothing bad, I hope," Anna said. "All good. He's completely smitten." Katya's eyes were knowing as she looked between them. "Though he's terrible at showing it." "Katya," Maxim warned. "What? It's true." Katya turned back to Anna. "He lights up when he talks about you. I haven't seen him this happy since before grandfather died." Anna's heart did something strange in her chest. She looked at Maxim, but he was focused on his sister. "How are you feeling?" he asked, changing the subject. "Like I was hit by a truck." Which, according to the doctor, is basically what happened. They stayed at the hospital until visiting hours ended. On the drive home, Anna finally broke the silence. "She's wonderful." "Yes, she island. And she really thinks you're smitten with me." Maxim glanced at her. "I may have embellished our relationship when I told her about you." "How much embellishment?" "She thinks we're madly in love." "Right, for the inheritance." "For the inheritance," Maxim agreed. But something in his voice sounded off. Back at the penthouse, Anna found herself reluctant to go to her room. Maxim looked exhausted but wired, like he wouldn't be able to sleep. "Would you like some tea?" she offered. "That would be nice." They sat in the living room with their cups, the city lights twinkling beyond the windows. The silence felt different now, not awkward, but comfortable. "Thank you," Maxim said suddenly. "For what?" "For coming with me tonight." "For being there." "You would have done the same for me." "Would I?" Anna studied his face. "Yes, I think you would." Maxim set down his cup and looked at her. "You don't really know me, Anna." "I know enough." Do you know that I've destroyed competitors without losing sleep? That I've fired people to protect profit margins? That I've never had a relationship last longer than 3 months because I choose business over everything else? I know you work 18-hour days to protect 3,000 jobs. I know you love your sister enough to sit by her bedside all night. I know you're carrying the weight of your grandfather's legacy and trying not to let anyone see how much pressure you're under. Maxim stared at her. "How do you see all that?" "Because I pay attention." The air between them felt charged suddenly, dangerous. Anna was acutely aware of how close they were sitting, how the lamplight caught the gold flecks in Maxim's dark eyes. "Anna." "What?" "This arrangement between us. It's getting complicated." "How so?" Instead of answering, Maxim reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The gentle touch made Anna's breath catch. "We should maintain boundaries," he said quietly. "Keep this professional." "Yes," Anna whispered. "We should." But neither of them moved away. The space between them seemed to shrink, and Anna found herself leaning closer. "This is a bad idea," Maxim murmured. "Terrible idea," Anna agreed. And then he was kissing her. It was soft at first, tentative, like he was giving her a chance to pull away. But when Anna's hands found his chest and she kissed him back, something ignited between them. This wasn't the careful, performed kiss from the charity gala. This was real. Desperate and hungry and full of the attraction they'd been fighting for weeks. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. "Anna, don't," she said quickly. "Don't apologize or explain it away. Just don't." Maxim searched her face. "Where does this leave us?" "I don't know. We're getting married in 2 days. A fake marriage." "Is it?" Maxim's voice was barely above a whisper. Anna's heart pounded. "It has to be, doesn't it?" "Does it?" Before Anna could answer, Maxim's phone buzzed with an urgent text. The spell broken, he checked it and his face went hard. What is it? Victor, he's called an emergency board meeting for tomorrow morning. He's challenging my fitness to lead the company. Anna felt cold dread in her stomach. Can he do that? If he can prove I'm unstable or unfit for leadership, yes. The board can override grandfather's will. What kind of proof could he have? Maxim's jaw tightened. I don't know. But Victor doesn't make moves like this unless he's confident. The romantic moment was completely shattered now. Anna could see Maxim's walls going back up, his focus shifting entirely to business. What do? We stick to the plan. We get married as scheduled, I secure the inheritance, and deal with Victor afterward. And this? Anna gestured between them. What just happened? Maxim stood abruptly. Was a mistake. It won't happen again. His words stung, even though Anna knew he was probably right. Of course. Back to business. Back to business, he confirmed. But as Anna watched him walk away, she couldn't shake the feeling that everything had changed. The kiss had revealed something neither of them was ready to face, that their fake relationship was becoming dangerously real. And with Victor circling like a predator and their wedding just 2 days away, dangerous feelings were the last thing they could afford. Truth that hurts. Anna couldn't sleep after their kiss. She paced her room, replaying every moment, every touch, every whispered word. The memory of Maxim's hands in her hair, the desperation in his kiss, the way he'd looked at her like she was something precious. It all felt too real to dismiss. But his words echoed in her mind. Was a mistake. It won't happen again. At 3 a.m., she gave up on sleep and padded to the kitchen for water. The penthouse was dark except for the glow from Maxim's office. She could hear him on the phone, his voice tense. I need to know what Victor has on me. Someone leaked information, and I need to know who. Anna froze. Leaked information? Check the security footage from the office. Check email logs. Check everything. A pause. I don't care what it costs. My wedding is tomorrow, and I won't let Victor destroy everything at the last minute. Wedding. Tomorrow. Anna's stomach fluttered with nerves she'd been trying to ignore. What do you mean there's no evidence of a leak? Maxim's voice sharpened. Then how does Victor know about the Petrov merger discussions? Those documents were classified. Anna crept closer to his office door, her heart pounding. Find out who Victor's been talking to. Someone with access to confidential information is feeding him intel. Another pause. Yes, I know what that implies. Check everyone. Board members, employees, even. Anna's blood went cold as she realized what Maxim was thinking. He suspected someone close to him was betraying him. Someone like her. She hurried back to her room, her mind racing. Tomorrow she would marry Maxim, and he didn't even trust her. The kiss that had felt so real, so meaningful, was just a moment of weakness he regretted. Anna spent the rest of the night staring at the ceiling, wondering if she was making the biggest mistake of her life. Morning came too soon. Anna woke to find a wedding dress hanging in her closet. Simple, elegant, perfect. A note was pinned to it. For my bride. M. Despite everything, her heart fluttered at the words. The civil ceremony was scheduled for 2 p.m. At noon, Anna was getting ready when she heard voices in the living room. Male voices, unfamiliar and angry. She crept to her door and listened. Where is she? A voice demanded. Where's this mysterious girlfriend who appeared out of nowhere? Victor, Maxim's voice was ice cold. What are you doing here? Ensuring you're not committing fraud, cousin. This sudden engagement seems awfully convenient. Anna's hands shook as she realized Victor was here, now, on their wedding day. My personal life is none of your concern. It is when it affects a $1 billion inheritance. Tell me, Maxim. What do you really know about Anna Sokolova? There was a pause, and Anna held her breath. I know everything I need to know. Do you know she's been researching you online for months? Do you know she applied for jobs at 3 of your subsidiary companies before you accidentally met her? Anna's blood turned to ice. How did Victor know that? Do you know, Victor continued, his voice smug, that she's been in contact with journalists asking about your business practices? You're lying. Am I? Check her browser history. Check her email. Your devoted fiancé has been digging into your life since long before you met. Anna sank against her door. It was true, she had researched Maxim online after meeting him. And she had applied for jobs at his companies months ago, when she was desperate for work. But she'd never contacted journalists, never tried to dig up dirt on him. Even if that were true, Maxim said, but his voice had changed. Less certain. It doesn't matter now, doesn't it? Tell me. What did you really know about her when you proposed? What kind of background checks did you run? The silence stretched on, and Anna knew Victor had struck a nerve. I'll be back for the board meeting next week, Victor said. And I'll have proof that this marriage is a sham designed to circumvent grandfather's will. Good luck explaining that to the board. Anna heard footsteps, a door slamming, then silence. She sat on her bed, hands shaking, mind reeling. Victor had twisted the truth just enough to plant seeds of doubt. Yes. She'd researched Maxim online, who wouldn't? Yes, she'd applied for jobs at his companies, she'd been desperate for work. But she'd never tried to investigate him for malicious purposes. But would Maxim believe that? A knock on her door made her jump. Anna, we need to talk. She opened the door to find Maxim standing in the hallway, his face unreadable. You heard most of it. Anna lifted her chin. And I can explain everything. Can you? His tone was neutral, but Anna could see the walls going back up, the trust from last night evaporating. Yes. I researched you online after we met, because I wanted to know who I was getting involved with. I applied for jobs at your companies months ago because I was broke and desperate for work. But I never contacted any journalists, and I never tried to dig up damaging information about you. But you didn't tell me about the job applications. It seemed irrelevant. I didn't get the jobs, and we met completely by coincidence. Did we? Maxim stepped closer. Or did you seek me out? You came to me, remember? You approached my table at the cafe. After you'd been there for 3 hours, reading in plain sight, waiting to be noticed. Anna's mouth fell open. You think I planned our meeting? I think Victor raises valid questions about the timing of our relationship. Questions or accusations? Does it matter? The coldness in his voice broke something inside Anna. It matters to me. I thought, after last night. Last night was a mistake, I told you that. Right, a mistake. Anna felt tears threatening and fought them back. So what now? Do you want to call off the wedding? Maxim studied her face for a long moment. No, we'll proceed as planned. Even though you don't trust me. Trust is a luxury I can't afford. This is business, Anna. It always has been. His words cut deep, but Anna nodded. Fine, business at Island. The civil ceremony took place at 2 p.m. in a sterile government office. Anna wore her beautiful dress and smiled for the photographer. Maxim slipped a ring on her finger and kissed her briefly for the sake of appearances. It was nothing like the kiss from the night before. They signed papers, shook hands with the officiant, and were married. Mrs. Anna Volkova now, at least on paper. The ride back to the penthouse was silent. Anna stared out the window, the weight of her wedding ring heavy on her finger. The board meeting is Monday, Maxim said finally. What do you need me to do? Be the perfect wife. Convince them this is real. And after? After you get your inheritance? We stick to the original plan. Quiet divorce, you get your money, we part ways. Anna nodded, not trusting her voice. At the penthouse, Maxim headed straight for his office. I have work to do. Of course you do. He paused at his office door. Anna. What? For a moment, he looked like he wanted to say something. Then his expression hardened again. Nothing. Congratulations on your marriage, Mrs. Volkova. He disappeared into his office, leaving Anna alone in the living room in her wedding dress. She sank onto the couch and finally let the tears fall. This was supposed to be a business arrangement, but somewhere along the way, her heart had gotten involved. And now that heart was breaking. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Congratulations on your wedding. Too bad it won't last. Victor. Somehow he'd gotten her number. Another text followed. Your husband has secrets, Anna. Dark ones. Ask him about the Kozlov acquisition. Ask him what he did to secure that deal. Anna deleted the texts, but Victor's words haunted her. What was the Kozlov acquisition? What secrets was Maxim hiding? She looked toward his closed office door, then at the wedding ring on her finger. They were married now, bound together legally, if not emotionally. But she'd never felt more alone. In his office, Maxim stared at his computer screen without seeing it. Victor's accusations replayed in his mind. Had Anna sought him out deliberately? Had their meeting been planned? The timing was suspicious. Her financial desperation, her applications to his companies, her convenient presence at a cafe he frequented. It was exactly the kind of long-term manipulation Victor might orchestrate. But the woman he'd kissed last night, the woman who'd stayed with him at the hospital, who'd brought him coffee and worried about him working too late, that couldn't all be an act, could it? Maxim pulled up Anna's background check on his computer. Everything Victor had said was true. The job applications, the online research, but there was no evidence of contact with journalists, no suspicious activity. Still, doubt gnawed at him. In his world, everyone had an agenda. Why should Anna be different? He looked at the photo from their wedding ceremony. Anna looked beautiful but sad. Her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Had she looked sad because the marriage was fake, or because she was regretting getting caught in whatever game she was playing? Maxim closed the laptop and rubbed his tired eyes. In 3 days, he would face the board. His future, his company's future, depended on convincing them his marriage was real. The irony wasn't lost on him. He'd married Anna to secure his inheritance, but in doing so, he might have given Victor exactly the weapon he needed to destroy everything. And somewhere in the back of his mind, a voice whispered that he might have just destroyed the first real connection he'd felt in years. But business was business, and in business, trust was a luxury Maxim Volkov couldn't afford. Even if it was breaking his heart. Life after the storm. The board meeting was a disaster. Anna sat in the hallway outside the Volkov Industries boardroom, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, listening to raised voices through the heavy wooden doors. She couldn't make out individual words, but the tone was clear. Anger, accusation, heated debate. She'd played her part perfectly. Arrived at Maxim's side wearing an elegant navy dress, his arm around her waist, every inch the devoted newlywed. She'd smiled at board members, answered their polite questions about married life, and radiated happiness. But Victor had been ready for them. The meeting had been going on for 2 hours now. Anna checked her watch. 4 p.m. How much longer could they debate Maxim's fitness to lead the company? The doors finally opened, and Maxim emerged. His face was stone, but Anna could see the tension in his shoulders, the tightness around his eyes. "How did it go?" she asked quietly. "We'll discuss it at home." The ride back to the penthouse was silent. Maxim stared out the window while Anna tried to read his mood. This level of controlled fury was new, even for him. At the penthouse, Maxim poured himself a whiskey and drank it in one swallow. "They voted to suspend me pending investigation," he said finally. Anna's heart sank. What kind of investigation? Into the legitimacy of our marriage. Victor convinced them it's a fraud designed to circumvent the will. But we are legally married. Legal and legitimate aren't the same thing. Maxim poured another drink. They want proof that our relationship predates the inheritance deadline. Proof that we're genuinely in love. What kind of proof? Photos, witnesses, documentation of a relationship timeline. Maxim's laugh was bitter. Things we don't have because our relationship is exactly what Victor claims at Island. Anna felt a stab of hurt. So what happens now? Now we prove them wrong. We have 2 weeks to convince the board that we're the real thing. And if we can't, Victor gets everything. Anna sunk onto the couch. "I'm sorry, this is my fault. If I hadn't applied to those companies, if Victor didn't have ammunition, this isn't your fault." Maxim's voice was sharp. "This is Victor being Victor. He would have found something else to use against us. But you still don't trust me." Maxim was quiet for a long moment. "I don't trust anyone, Anna. It's how I've survived." "That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have." Anna stood up. "Fine. Then let's get to work. What do we need to do to convince the board?" For the next week, they threw themselves into creating the illusion of a real relationship. They hired a photographer to stage candid moments, coffee dates, walks in the park, intimate dinners. Anna moved her belongings into Maxim's bedroom to make it look like they truly lived as husband and wife. The physical proximity was torture. Sharing a bed platonically with a man she was falling for proved nearly impossible. Anna lay awake each night, hyper-aware of Maxim's presence beside her. He always stayed on his side, never touching her, but she could feel the heat of his body and hear his breathing. Sometimes she caught him watching her when he thought she was asleep. But in the morning, he was always distant, professional, focused only on their performance. "We need to work on your body language," he said one evening, as they reviewed photos from their latest date. "What's wrong with my body language? You look like you're afraid of me. See here?" He pointed to a photo of them walking hand in hand. "You're pulling away slightly. Your shoulders are tense." Anna studied the image. He was right, she did look uncomfortable. "Maybe because I am uncomfortably." "This is all pretend, Maxim. It's hard to look natural when nothing about this is natural. Then, we need to practice." "Practice what?" "Being comfortably with each other." Maxim stood and moved to her side of the couch. "May I?" Anna nodded, not sure what he planned to do. Maxim sat beside her and put his arm around her shoulders, pulling her against his side. Anna's breath caught at the contact. "Relax," he murmured. "In public, we need to look like we can't keep our hands off each other. Right? Public." Anna tried to relax into his embrace, but her heart was racing. "Better." His thumb stroked along her shoulder. "Now look at me like you're in love with me." Anna tilted her head back to meet his eyes. The words were meant to be an instruction, but something shifted when their gazes locked. "Like this?" she whispered. Maxim's eyes darkened. "Yes, exactly like that." The air between them crackled with tension. Anna was intensely aware of his hand on her shoulder, the warmth of his body against hers, the way his eyes kept dropping to her lips. "We should practice more," she said softly. Yes, we should. But neither of them moved. They sat frozen, staring at each other, the pretense of practice dissolving into something much more dangerous. Maxim's phone rang, shattering the moment. He answered it, his voice professional again. "Volkov." Anna couldn't hear the other side of the conversation, but she watched Maxim's face grow grave. "When?" he asked. "How bad?" Anna's stomach dropped. "Not another emergency. I'll be right there." Maxim hung up and reached for his jacket. "That was the hospital. Katya's taken a turn for the worse. I'm coming with you." "Anna, you don't need to." "Yes, I do. She's my sister-in-law now." Something flickered across Maxim's face at her words. "Right, of course." At the hospital they found Katya conscious but weak, her face pale against the pillows. "Hey, big brother," she said, with a tired smile. "Sorry to scare you again." "What happened?" Maxim asked, taking her hand. "Just some complications from the internal injuries. The doctors say I need surgery to repair some damage they missed before." "When?" "Tomorrow morning." Anna saw the fear flash across Maxim's face before he could hide it. This was his only family, the one person in the world he loved unconditionally. "It's going to be fine," Katya said, squeezing his hand. "I'm tougher than I look." "You'd better be." Anna moved to Katya's other side. "Is there anything you need? Anything we can bring you? Just having you both here helps." Katya's eyes moved between them. "You two seem different tonight, more connected." Anna felt heat rise in her cheeks. "Do we?" "Definitely, marriage suits you both." Katya smiled. "Though I have to ask, why haven't you been wearing your wedding ring, Maxim?" Anna's heart stopped. She looked at Maxim's left hand and realized Katya was right. He wasn't wearing a ring. Maxim faltered. "He had it resized," Anna said quickly. "It was too loose. We just picked it up from the jeweler today." It was a believable lie, but Anna saw the questions in Katya's eyes. They stayed until visiting hours ended, then drove home in tense silence. "She knows," Anna said finally. "Knows what?" "That something's wrong with us, with our marriage." Maxim parked in the penthouse garage and turned off the engine. "She suspects, she doesn't know. She will, if we don't get better at this." "We'll get better." Anna looked at him. "Will we?" "Because I'm not sure how much longer I can pretend to be in love with someone who doesn't trust me. This isn't about trust. This is about survival." "Is it?" Because it feels like you're punishing me for something I didn't do. Maxim was quiet for a long moment. Victor showed me emails, Anna. Messages between you and a journalist asking about my business practices. Anna's blood turned cold. What emails? I never contacted any journalists. Then how do you explain them? I can't, because they don't exist, or if they do, someone forged them. Anna turned to face him fully. Maxim, I swear to you, I never contacted any journalists. I never tried to dig up dirt on you. Everything I told you was the truth. She could see the war playing out on his face. Doubt battling against something that might have been hope. Victor is very good at manipulation, she continued. He's playing us against each other. Can't you see that? I see that he has information he shouldn't have. Information that could only come from someone close to me. Or from someone with enough money and resources to fabricate evidence. Maxim stared at her for a long moment. I want to believe you. Then believe me. It's not that simple. Anna felt tears threaten. Yes, Island, either you trust me or you don't. Either we're partners in this or we're not. Anna. No, I'm done begging for your trust. Anna opened the car door. I'll play the perfect wife for your board. I'll smile and hold your hand and convince them we're in love. But don't expect me to keep pretending this means anything to me when it clearly means nothing to you. She got out of the car and headed for the elevator, not looking back. In the penthouse, Anna went straight to the bedroom and began pulling her clothes out of Maxim's closet. What are you doing? Maxim asked from the doorway. Moving back to my room. We can share a bed for appearances when necessary, but I'm not torturing myself every night lying next to someone who thinks I'm a liar. Anna, wait. She turned to face him, clothes in her arms. What? Maxim looked like he wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. That's what I thought. Anna pushed past him. Good night, Maxim. I'll see you in the morning for our next performance. She closed her bedroom door firmly behind her and leaned against it, finally letting the tears fall. In the hallway, Maxim stood staring at her door, his hand raised like he'd been about to knock. But he didn't. Instead, he walked away, leaving Anna alone with her heartbreak and the growing certainty that she'd made a terrible mistake. She'd fallen in love with a man who would never love her back. And tomorrow they would have to pretend everything was perfect while his sister's life hung in the balance and his empire crumbled around them. Anna had never felt more alone in her life. Back in the game, Anna sat in her empty apartment, staring at the contract termination papers. The silence felt heavier than ever. Her phone buzzed constantly with calls from modeling agencies, but she ignored them all. Nothing mattered anymore. The doorbell rang sharply at 11 p.m. Anna hesitated before opening it. Katya stood there, her face pale with panic. Anna, thank God you're here. It's Maxim. Anna's heart stopped. What happened? Car accident. He's in the hospital. It's bad. The words hit Anna like a physical blow. She grabbed her jacket without thinking. Which hospital? Rudenko. Anna, hurry. They raced through the nighttime streets of Moscow. Katya drove while Anna sat frozen, her hands shaking. The city lights blurred past the windows as her heart pounded with fear she hadn't felt in months. How bad is it? Anna whispered. I don't know. The doctor said something about head trauma. Anna closed her eyes, fighting back tears. All their fights, all the angry words, none of it mattered now. She just needed him to be alive. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and despair. Anna ran down the sterile corridors, following Katya to the intensive care unit. Through the glass window, she saw him. Maxim lay unconscious, his face pale and bruised. Machines beeped around him, keeping track of his fragile life. He looked so small in that hospital bed, so defenseless. This wasn't the powerful businessman who had dominated her world. This was just a man, vulnerable and alone. Can I see him? Anna asked the nurse. Family only. I'm his fiancée. Anna lied without hesitation. The doctor appeared, his expression grave. He was older, with kind eyes that had seen too much suffering. Miss, I need to be honest with you. The patient has suffered severe head trauma. He's in a coma. Anna felt the world tilt. When will he wake up? We don't know. It could be days, weeks, or longer. The brain is unpredictable. All we can do is wait. Anna nodded numbly. She walked into the room and sat beside Maxim's bed. His hand felt cold when she touched it. The steady beep of the heart monitor was the only sound breaking the silence. "I'm here," she whispered to his still form. "I'm not going anywhere." Hours passed. Katya brought coffee and sandwiches, but Anna barely touched them. She just sat there, watching Maxim's chest rise and fall, listening to the machines that kept him alive. Nurses came and went. Doctors checked his responses. Anna answered their questions about his medical history, making up what she didn't know. She felt needed for the first time in a month. As dawn approached, Anna rested her head on the bed beside his hand. She was exhausted, emotionally drained. "Don't you dare leave me," she whispered into the darkness. "Not like this, not when I finally understand what we had." The machines continued their steady rhythm. Outside, Moscow was waking up to another day. But in this room, time stood still. Confession under the stars. 3 days later, Anna sat reading beside Maxim's bed when she heard a soft sound. She looked up to see his eyes fluttering open. "Maxim?" Her voice was barely a whisper. His eyes focused slowly on her face. For a moment, confusion clouded his features. "Anna?" His voice was rough from the breathing tube. Tears she'd been holding back for days finally fell. "You're awake, thank God, you're awake." The doctor was called. Tests were run. Slowly, it became clear that Maxim would be okay. Weak, but okay. That evening, Anna wheeled him to the hospital garden. Moscow's autumn sky was clear, stars beginning to appear above the city lights. "Why are you here?" Maxim asked quietly. "After everything that happened." Anna looked at her hands. "Because when Katya told me about the accident, I realized something. Nothing else mattered. Not the contract, not the fights, not my pride, just you." "Anna, let me finish. I've been sitting here for 3 days, thinking about us, about what went wrong." Maxim reached for her hand. "It wasn't just your fault. I pushed too hard, wanted too much control." "Tell me something," Anna said. "Why is it so hard for you to show weakness? Even now, you're trying to be strong." Maxim was quiet for a long moment, looking up at the stars. "My father died when I was 12. Heart attack at his office. My mother fell apart completely. I had to become the man of the house overnight." His voice grew distant. "I learned that being weak meant people you love get hurt, so I built walls." Anna squeezed his hand. "But walls keep people out too. I know that now. This whole month without you. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Katya said I was destroying myself. I wasn't doing much better," Anna admitted. "I kept telling myself I was too good for contracts and arrangements. But the truth is, I was scared too." "Of what?" Anna took a deep breath. "Of caring too much, of losing myself in someone else's dreams. I had my own dreams once, you know. I wanted to open a bookstore, believe it or not. Somewhere quiet and beautiful, where people could discover stories. What happened to that dream? Money happened, success happened. I got so caught up in being perfect for everyone else, I forgot who I really was." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the Moscow skyline twinkle in the darkness. "Anna," Maxim said softly, "what if we could start over? No contracts, no arrangements. Just us, figuring it out as we go." She turned to look at him. His face was sincere, vulnerable in a way she'd never seen before. "Just us?" "Just us." Anna leaned closer. The autumn leaves rustled around them as their lips met. This kiss was different from all the others. Slow, tender, honest. No performance, no expectations. Just two people who had found each other again. When they broke apart, Anna rested her forehead against his. "No lies this time," she whispered. "No lies." A promised. New beginning. 1 year later, the country estate outside Moscow was decorated with simple white flowers. Anna stood in front of an antique mirror, adjusting her dress. It wasn't a designer gown, just a simply white dress that made her feel beautiful without trying too hard. Her mother appeared in the doorway. "You look radiant, darling." "I feel different," Anna said. "Lighter somehow. That's what real love does." Through the window, Anna could see guests gathering in the garden. It was a small wedding. Just family and close friends. No press, no publicity. Exactly what they both wanted. Maxim had transferred most of his business operations to a trusted manager 6 months ago. He still worked, but differently now. With balance, their bookstore in the city center had opened last month, and it was already becoming a beloved local spot. "Ready?" her mother asked. Anna nodded, picking up her simply bouquet of wildflowers. The ceremony was held under ancient oak trees. Maxim waited at a simple arch decorated with white roses. When he saw Anna walking down the grass aisle, his face lit up with pure joy. Anna's father walked beside her, his eyes suspiciously bright. "Take care of her," he whispered to Maxim as he placed Anna's hand in his. "With my life," Maxim replied. The words they spoke were their own, written together on quiet evenings in their bookstore. No script, no performance. Just promises from the heart. "Anna," Maxim said, his voice steady and sure. "You taught me that being strong doesn't mean being alone. You showed me that love isn't about control. It's about trust." Anna's voice was clear as crystal. "Maxim, you helped me remember who I really am. Not the perfect image, but the real me. The dreamer, the book lover, the woman who isn't afraid to be vulnerable." They exchanged simple gold bands, symbols of promises made freely, without contracts or conditions. As they were pronounced husband and wife, their parents raised glasses of champagne. Anna's father stood to speak. "To Anna and Maxim," he said, "may you always remember that the best love stories aren't perfect, they're real." As evening fell, string lights illuminated the garden. Anna and Maxim had their first dance under the stars. The same stars that had witnessed their confession in the hospital garden. "Any regrets?" Maxim whispered as they swayed to the music. Anna looked around at their small gathering of loved ones, at the simple beauty of the evening, at the man holding her close. "Only one," she said with a smile. "That it took us so long to get here." Maxim spun her gently, her white dress flowing around them. Other couples joined them on the grass dance floor. The music played softly, mixing with laughter and conversation. For the first time in their lives, both Anna and Maxim felt completely free. Free from expectations, from contracts, from the need to be perfect. They were just two people who had chosen each other, ready to write their own love story. The stars shone down on their celebration, blessing a love that had survived contracts and pride, accidents and fear. A love that was finally, beautifully real. Don't forget to rate this story and subscribe if you want more love stories like this one.